Hey everyone, just thought I'd check in with everyone and talk about the case study paper. The case study paper really functions similarly to our discussion sections, except instead of us providing you with a lot of the readings, you'll go out and do some research on your own, finding two peer reviewed articles, a minimum of two peer reviewed articles, and I'm actually going to show you a quick tutorial as to how you might go and accomplish that, just in case you've never really had to research anything like this. But the case study paper has sort of two basic functions. The first one is you should find some sort of topic and review contemporary literature on that topic to give us sort of a basis. And the second part of it is you should offer recommendations based on that literature, given the example. So you can find an example of a CNN article. You can provide your own personal anecdote, something that might have happened to you. And then based on the content that we've covered so far, from overview of communication technologies, interpersonal relationships, and then impression management, on one of those topics, what you'll do is you'll provide us with some sort of insight or ideas. Okay, so if for whatever reason you liked week four's ideas of context collapse or collision or collusion, you might want to go ahead and find more information like the Davis and Yerkes 2014 article to give us more insight, right? And once you do that, what you do is you provide us with literature. So here's an example of when context collision happened. I wasn't supposed to be in a relationship with someone, and someone tagged me on a picture on Facebook, and then everything exploded. All my world came crumbling down. This is what the literature says how to handle those situations. This is what my recommendations are moving past that for anyone who maybe has dealt with this, or as a preventative measure, you can read this case study, which is 4 to 5 double-spaced pages, and you'll know what to do to handle this situation. For the most part, you're just trying to make an argument, right? You're trying to make an argument based on the literature that you've reviewed, the literature that you've brought up yourself, and how your interpretation of that will really dictate how to handle these concepts and these situations moving forward. You should really provide us with a very persuasive reason why this research, this literature that you've brought up, will help us understand, and the recommendations you provide will help us understand how moving forward we can handle these situations of context collision. Okay, so I thought it'd be interesting just to give us a brief snippet. People do research in a variety of different ways, and so don't limit yourself to just my approach to it. This should just give you some understanding as to how to handle it. So we go here, cool dual screen action, and we go to UWM's website, or you can use Google Scholar if that's what you're interested in. It actually will integrate the different libraries you have access to. So you'll go here, you'll click libraries. If you're following me so far, let's go ahead and give us a little bit of increased visibility here. And we'll talk about something such as, let's keep it simple, interpersonal relationships. Okay, and if we want to maybe complicate it a little bit more, we can go to articles and we click go. Now we wait and we wait depending on our internet connection, and we get to, holy cow, 72,000 almost articles that have interpersonal relationship. Okay, now this is what I would do. I would try to confine this and make it as easy for you as possible, make it specific. So I'll click advanced search here. I'll go to interpersonal relationships. Again, spelling is hard. And I'll hit tab a couple times, and then I'll talk about Facebook, because if you type in Instagram, you probably won't find anything. And then I'll type in deception and hope that all of this will come to fruition. We'll click search again, and we have 168 articles. So we've eliminated almost 72,000 articles to make it as specific as possible. Our topic, interpersonal relationship. More specifically, Facebook. More specific than that, deception. People are very deceptive on Facebook. So what does that mean? Okay, if this is just your starting place, maybe you don't want to talk about romantic relationships, or you want to talk about something different. What I would do is I would just sort of start looking through these articles and go, what is of interest to me? College students' romantic relationships on Facebook. Linking the gratification for maintenance to Facebook maintenance activity and the experience of jealousy. Now, did they mean jealousy or did they mean envy? Here we go. Journal, Communication Quarterly, very cool. Year 2015, awesome. Let's go ahead, open a new tab, and just for our sake, we're going to click peer-reviewed journals. We're going to keep going forward. It's going to make me log in. Here's my login information. None of your business. And the article will come through. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Cool. We click full access PDF. And I know. Super cool. So this should really be pretty simplistic for a lot of you because these are the type of articles that we've already been reading for class. So the reading difficulty probably shouldn't be too high. But we can really refine and find information based on whatever it is that we want to talk about with this search engine, right? So maybe we talk about romantic relationships. What happens if we go from interpersonal relationships, Facebook deception? What would happen if maybe we type in romantic? Okay, we hit search again. We go from 146 to 48. Okay, remember, you need a minimum of 2 peer-reviewed articles. I would say on average, the students who do exceptionally well in this class will use 3 to 4. Some will use 2 and do exceptional. Some will use 8 and do exceptional, right? So it really depends on the argument you're trying to make. But keep in mind, every time that you make an argument, provide us with some sort of context as to what literature has said. And this doesn't have to be literature that came out in 2015. We have an article here from 2012. Stafford and Hillier. I've actually read this article. That probably goes into greater detail with some of the topics that we're coming to. So here we are. We get redirected to EBSCOhost. We click full text PDF. And again, we have a variety of information to really go off of. We have notes that we can start making, and we can just pull up a Word document, just like my Word document here for my notes when I'm going through reviews, and then just sort of move past it. What you'll see in a lot of these situations is that you'll find topics that interest you. And as you're reading through, maybe for the first time, this one sounds pretty interesting to you. You're going, and you go, the need to include communication between people in the study of technological advances was highlighted when Rogers, 1986, defined communication technology as, so communication technology, here we are, the hardware, equipment, organizational structures, and social values by which individuals collect, process, and exchange information with other individuals. Couldn't have put it better myself, because Rogers in 1986 did it for us. You might want to go to Google Scholar or back to the UWM library and type in Rogers 86. Or if you want to be more specific, because that could be a little bit troublesome, we come down here, we find Rogers 1986, communication technology, and we move from there. So again, this should be relatively straightforward. You have a topic of interest, you want to make it as specific as possible, make it something that is of interest to you. I find that if you can write about something that has maybe happened to you or something that you've observed, a news article that you read and went, whoa, that's so crazy, I never thought of that. That's usually a good place to start because you use that motivation, use that fuel moving forward to keep yourself excited. If you like romantic relationships, this will be the place for you, okay? If you like the topic of restoring or maybe even impression management, awesome, or even the overview of communication technology, it's really up to you. So this is just, again, a very simplistic look at how we use this topic of the case study paper. It happens next week. It's due next Sunday, so not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. And so we'll have plenty of time to talk about the case study paper. You can send me emails, you can send me drafts. But I thought I'd just give you a quick overview as to how I would tackle it, and hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight if you're feeling apprehensive or anxious, or just honestly had no idea what to talk about. So hopefully that helped, and if it didn't, sorry, let me know. But yeah, I'll talk to you all soon.